Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to take a look at all the information that came out of the FSExpo for Flight Simulator 2024. So just a quick recap on what sort of lifestyle you can choose as a pilot in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. You have the Red Bull Air Races, you have a commercial pilot, you have air ambulance, aerial advertising, VIP charter services, agricultural activities, search and rescue, helicopter cargo transport, remote cargo ops, and aerial firefighting. So first we'll take a look at the commercial flight section. As you can see in the image here, there's the A330. They're going to develop the A330-200, A330-300, and it's going to be built by Builds. You'll now be able to get out of the aircraft, you'll be able to walk around, you can literally open the door and go outside, and the pre-flight will include outside removable covers, such as the remove before flight tags on the PO tubes, etc. So now if we take a look at this shot of the air ambulance, you can see that it looks like it's in Australia, and that's because they've included now 30 biomes for vegetation, plants, the grass, etc. And they're all specific to their region in the world and what plants are native to those regions. Not only that, but the rocks as well, the ground surface, again the grass, the sand, the dust, that sort of thing. And if we move on to the next image, you'll be able to see where we are now. This is Flight Sim 2020, same location, and to be fair, it looks really old in comparison. It's unbelievable that that's the current sim that we are using, and the previous image was where we're going to be. So again, moving on, we have in this image the aerial advertising activity, and they explained how the banner you can really feel the banner on the aircraft as it's being pulled along. It really changes the dynamics of the flight, and you have to fly the plane specifically to be able to pull the banner appropriately and correctly, just like you would in real life. Moving on to the VIP charter service, what you'll notice in the with the clouds just right in the far background is the cirrus clouds. So that's another thing that's coming to the simulator. And again, in this image you can see the low-lying clouds, almost like fog, simulated very well, and then above into the sky you can see these very light wispy cirrus clouds. So moving on to this next image, you can see some agricultural aviation. What you might notice is the blades of grass. They're all simulated properly. It's going to be 3D, not 2D like it is now. And again, all depending on region in the world, it'll have its own biome, so it'll match that region, the type and species of grass and plant. Trees are all in differing heights, just like they are in the real world, and again down to the biome, they'll fit into their native region. Moving on to the search and rescue, you see here it just looks better. This is because they're using ray tracing for the lighting now, so it's a massive improvement in the lighting. That also has an effect on the clouds as well. The clouds will look so much better, they'll have some colour to them as the light scatters through the atmosphere, but also the water looks so much better because of this ray tracing. Also the waves have been improved, and the boats will rock back and forth side to side in sync with these waves. If we take a look at the helicopter cargo transport, you can see here again it just looks so much better than what we have right now. Again, the clouds, the weather in the background looks fantastic. The way the light is scattering through the atmosphere, the colours, and the shadows as well. So moving on, another aircraft. This is the Airbus A400M, and this is going to be built by Builds, and it looks absolutely fantastic. They've changed the rendering on the props, so it's going to look a million times better. Here you can see the A400M and in a remote section of, it looks like some sort of tropical area. You can see some puddles on the ground. They mentioned something about the puddles. They're not 100% sure by the sounds of it, but I think we will get the puddles. They're not going to be all over the world. They're going to be specific to where they should be and where you'd expect them to be. And you can see in this image that the aircraft is kicking up a lot of dust. They promised that the grass would reflect being driven over, basically rolled over by the aircraft wheels. And then moving on to aerial firefighting, this is quite an interesting one. Again, you can see the trees, they look so much better. The water being dropped down looks very realistic, to be fair. And they've improved the winds, and this is going to allow for the water and the chemical from the crop duster to behave as you'd expect, more realistically. Moving on to the bus trip section, this is where we currently are with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Doesn't look too bad, to be honest, looks pretty good. However, this is how it's going to look in Flight Sim 2024, just so much better. Again, you can see these trees have differing heights. Their species is native to this area of the world. The clouds in the background, you can see that again the cirrus wispy ones, but the clouds in general just look so much better. The light scattering as it passes through the atmosphere, the colours look tremendous. So moving on, we can see we have the Piper Cub here, fantastic little aircraft as it rolls through some grass. It's going to make bus trips so much better with this level of detail that we're going to see. However, if we go on to the next image, this is where we currently are with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It doesn't look bad at all, it looks really, really good. But if we move on to the next one, you can really see that difference. You can see the vegetation, the grass, the species of weeds and flowers and plants within the grass, the rocks. It's all driven by AI, and they're going to be placed specifically and with a type of rock as well. But one thing you may notice in this image is the mud on the wheels. There is going to be dirt accumulation, specifically when you're rolling through dirty areas such as dust strips and gravel and muddy areas. In this next image, they portray the hot air balloon, so there will be hot air balloons coming, and they did this because they want people to be able to enjoy the level of scenery, the level of detail at a very, very slow pace. Next, moving on, we have the air taxi. This image shows quite a lot. So you have the air taxi that is going to be created by FSExpo. But again, looking at the image, they haven't done much with the water, but it just looks a million times better because of this ray tracing, the way the light engine is working. It's scattering the light through the atmosphere, and you get realistic colors as you'd expect, especially on this image. Over sunset, you've got the bright yellow moving to an orange, moving into a more pinky reddy color. And here we have an image of an airship. Again, you can see just this level of lighting looking really great, and the clouds looking fantastic. It's almost photorealistic. So moving on, here we have the Twin Otter. This is going to be the Aerosoft Twin Otter that you used to be able to get on Flight Sim 2020, but it's going to be completely redone in a build to do in the art. They promise a fantastic little capable aircraft, and again, just looking at the vegetation and the types of trees in this shot, you can really see these different biomes that they're including. And here we have a glider being pulled along by a light aircraft, and you can see these mountains look absolutely amazing. They've only done a few regions like this, national parks, mountainous terrain, etc. But they do plan to basically do the whole world like this, specifically with these points of interest and to this level of detail. Again, you can see these trees with differing heights. They look absolutely fantastic. They definitely look 3D rather than 2D. Looks absolutely amazing. Again, with the light, the scatter of the light, the different colors. And here we have another shot of low level. Again, it looks almost photorealistic. It's what you'd expect in the real world. You've got gravel, you've got hiking paths, you've got the edges of the gravel and hiking paths turning into a bit of a dusty mud, and then into grass and vegetation as you'd expect. And again, here with the desert, you can see that it's not just a flat wasteland anymore. They've got cacti, they've got rocks, boulders, the dust, smaller stones on the ground, and just the color representation is looking absolutely fantastic. Next, moving on, this is a shot taken from within the Optica, and the Optica is going to be made by Gotfriends, but it's going to be massively improved. But again, just looking at this, looks so realistic. Next, we have something we've all been waiting for a long time, and that is seasons, accurately represented seasons. So each species in the sim is going to react to the differing seasons as they would in real life. And here we have another image of the hot air balloon being inflated, and they promise that it's going to be very realistic the way it inflates. They've done something with the mesh and it just looks absolutely stunning. And here we have a group of them. But one thing I take away from this is, again, you've got a different species of tree in the background. The way the light scatters on that river, and then in the sky, the clouds massively improved, and then again the colours just how you expect it to be in real life. And here we have another shot of the Optica, and it just looks absolutely amazing. I can't get over the colour and the lighting. It just looks so much better than what we have right now. Next we have this image that shows the Aurora Borealis, and this is included. It's not a mesh, it's a physical object, I believe, within that area of the world. That's how it's going to be simulated, and apparently it just reacts the way you'd expect it to react. Next, moving on from the trailer side of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, we'll move into some more details of what it's going to include. So here you have route planning. This is going to be like having the 4Flight experience directly in the sim. For those of you that don't know what 4Flight is, it's a flight planning software that is used around the world by real pilots, IFR or VFR. It's a very powerful tool, but this is going to be also standalone, so you can use this on your phone, you can use this on your computer away from the sim, and you can monitor, you can track your flight in real time, you can plan your flight prior to launching Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is going to be absolutely massive. It's going to be very, very useful and very powerful. And here we have another shot of some fuel planning and landing planning. It is going to include VFR and IFR charts as well, which is again absolutely massive information. On top of that, for all you long haul guys, it's also going to include ETOPS planning, which is absolutely amazing. And before we move on to the next image, the replay functionality is going to be included in Flight Sim. They are working with a third party to include this. It looks amazing. It looks like it's going to do the job just fine. I'm not sure if you guys have tried the experimental version in the current Flight Sim. I've tried it. It's a little bit finicky, but it does work to a degree. But they promise this one's going to be what we wanted, basically. But this next image is JFK, currently in MSFS 2020. And then the next image is in 2024, and you can really see how much detail they've started to put into the sim. Everything's starting to look a lot more realistic and how we'd expect it to be. And here we have Aspen. Already looks fantastic in my opinion, but now in 2024 it's going to look like this. It just looks a lot busier. It looks a lot basically realistic. It looks like someone has taken this photo. And next we have the big news. So this is going to be Asobo's most complex plane ever, and if you haven't already guessed from this image, it is going to be the 737 MAX 8, and it's going to be part of the base simulator. And just a couple more stills to show you here so you can enjoy this wonderful looking aircraft. I can't wait to fly it. It looks absolutely stunning, and just as a reminder, if you don't already know, but the sim is set to launch on the 19th of November 2024. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and if it was useful to you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more updates in the future. Thank you for watching.